Hey everybody, how's it going? Ben Grove here with the first round of X Standard Cube League action. If you haven't checked out my draft video, go ahead and check that out first, and you can see how I put together this Aerodactyl GX plus Lycanroc GX deck. In our first round here, we are up against Warriorzzz, who is bringing a kind of colorless plus just like really good value other attackers deck. The other really good value attackers being Banette GX, Baby Buzz, and Fright 90 Veltal. So some really good value, and then just the flexibility because the rest of the lines are colorless. So we're just going to quickly hop into the action here. Before I do, though, make sure if you want to join in on some of this online cube playing, check out the Pokemon TCG Cube League Discord, linked in the description, as well as if you want to support the cube content that I make, check out my Patreon. You can support me there. But other than that, let's just go ahead and get into the action. So we start off with a pretty good start here. We've got our Rockruff versus their Snorlax. Their Snorlax is Gormandized, which is great for them, but with just Ultra Ball in hand plus Barrel, we're just going to try and set up Bidoof into a Barrel next turn and draw some cards. They bench a Bidoof, a Smeargle, and attach Powerful Colorless, and just Gormandize for the turn. And I draw an Uxie off the top, which is really great. So we're just going to go ahead, Ultra Ball away 2 of those energy, make sure we've got the Bidoof in the deck, and we've got both of them. And we're just going to thin our hand down to 2 cards and set up for 5, which I'm never going to complain about that. So really solid start by me here. And yeah, we'll see what we draw off the setup. We draw more draw power with Crobat, but not necessarily anything else too interesting. And I think we just kind of hold the hand from here and see where it takes us. The good thing is that Warriorzzz only has 1 disruptive supporter in deck, an Iono, and yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and corner, prevent them from retreating, and pass it over. The big threat right now for us is Smeargle. That Smeargle is pretty live pretty soon. And my Rockruff here only has 60 HP, so it does not take too much for the Smeargle to knock it out with live painting. Warrior's going to go ahead and draw for turn and stew about their decisions for a little bit before doing the Ultra Ball, and I think they're probably going to go ahead for the same exact play that I'm doing. Ultra Ball away some things, get a Barrel into play, and just make sure we're both playing a consistent game. And yeah, really great starts from both of us, honestly. So some really good things. They'll bench the Kecleon, for the Rapid Strike Kecleon, and I've been had. He attaches to the Smeargle and ropes me, so I have to promote the Uxie because I don't want Bidoof to go down. And luckily the Rockruff is going to stay around. Then they'll use Industrious Incisors to build the hand back up. And did they find enough energy in there? They only need, actually, I think they only need 1 basic energy to show, because Powerful Colors will add 20 to the base 30. So yeah, they only need 1 energy to knock out this Uxie. Did they find the 1 energy? We've got a level ball here. Probably going to set up more basics for them. Yep, level ball getting a Shuppet, so threatening a Banette GX soon. Very dangerous. Benching a Young Goose, and then show me the hand. Do we have a basic energy? We do have 1 fighting basic energy. And that is, there goes the Uxie. So we are already down a prize. Luckily on my turn, though, the Raihan's going to come in handy here, because that will allow me to get into the Lycanroc GX. Do a little boo-boo there. I have to actually search the deck for the guy first. So we'll search the deck. We'll discard the energy. It's really of no consequence here in this situation, because I am just taking all that energy out of play. And definitely going to put Warriorzzz on the back foot. They do have a Raihan of their own, but unless they find it right here, they don't really have a good way to respond to the Lycanroc GX. The Banette is not going to be doing nearly enough damage. They've only used, I think, one Cynthia and Caitlyn. So, but Banette plus Choice Band will be pretty good. Yeah, and I'm just kind of checking their discard pile, seeing how many supporters they've got in there. So Shady Move not Shadow Chant not doing too much just yet, but they've kind of got the combo of just stacking up damage here. We've got Shrine plus Belt, plus they'll eventually be able to start Shady Moving damage back onto Lycanroc GX. So it is not necessarily long for this world, and I've got to get some other things set up. One thing that is notable in my deck is I am playing one Dark Basic for the Crobat V to be able to attack. That can definitely be a threat to Banette GX. They're going to use Guz Mahala for the turn, which is great because it's thinning down their hand for barrel, and it gets them the guaranteed Aurora energy that they need in order to attack. Because I believe the psychic there's some of their psychic energies are already in the discard. And they've got an Aspersia City Gym, which is good for buffing up their colorless Pokemon, their colorless Pokemon's health. And then they'll just go ahead and probably Incisors and then draw. Now they've got 3 supporters in the discard at this point. So Shadow Chant is going to end up doing a decent chunk of damage. So 60 plus 30 from the Choice Band, and then Shrine Tick as well. We draw an Entei off the top, and that is going to be very helpful at just being a nice guy who's going to be able to revenge this Lycanroc that is probably not too long for this world. Sonia is going to get us some more basics into play. I'm probably going to grab a Rockruff and an unidentified or an Old Amber. In this cube, just to ease play of fossils, you treat fossils as if they are just colorless basics in your deck, as well as item cards, I believe. So, and then we'll Industrious Incisors, build my hand back up. Marnie for next turn looks pretty good if they draw anything really good, and we'll just go ahead for the. I believe we're gonna smack him with Accelerock, which is going to end up doing 120 damage. Yeah, I only see 3 energy. Oh, sorry. I actually, there's more because there's a special energy in there, but it's not worth it to burn the GX attack just yet. So we'll just go for the Accelerock for 100. Oh, no, 120 because I've got the strong energy. Yeah. That is going to comfortably put the Banette in KO range, but they've got a really great hand to play down. They play down Aspersia City Gym, they play down Rescue Carry to get back Smeargle, and then just fill the hand back up to 5. The DTE on the Kecleon is also a big threat because it just means it's attacking a lot sooner with the 3 attack cost that it has. The Kecleon can hit basically any of my guys for weakness, and I do believe he's playing enough of the variety of energy to hit anything for weakness. We'll use Tag Call. Warriorzzz has a great tag engine. He's got like several Sinlin, several Goose Hala as well. So that's kind of the backbone of their deck for sure. We'll Tag Call for the Sinlin. And we use Volkner for turn, looking for an item card and a basic lightning energy. I've definitely put them in a position where they're going to have to reach for some KOs because of getting rid of the Shrine and the Band. So the ability to actually get the KO with Shadow Chant this turn is definitely impacted. Taking a big long search into the deck here. We get a special charge to recycle some energy, and that's it. So not a really impactful supporter for turn, but it can at least recycle the powerful colorless. He'll shady move 1 damage counter off of the Banette to the Lycanroc, and that will just give it just enough damage counters to get the job done. The good thing is we are right in Rally Back range. Rally Back on Entei is going to do 30 plus 90 if one of your Pokemon was KO'd this previous turn. And I've just got pretty much a really great hand that I can just kind of play everything down, play down Stonejourner, play down an Energy, play down a Lycanroc to evolve, and then my opponent at 7 cards in hand, I believe I'm going to go ahead and hand disrupt them with a Marnie. I'll Industrious Incisors first, bump their Aspersia City Gym. Well, actually, do I bump it? I think what I do here is I just hold the hand and I Karina's Focus for, yeah, I Karina's Focus just to draw 2. We'll Nest Ball to Thin. And just fail it and bench the Rockruff that was in hand. And we'll go ahead and use Rally Back. And that will catch me up a little bit. Now that the Banette GX is down, we are still down in prizes 4-3. Now, one great thing that I have drawn... Oh, sorry. It's 3-3. One great thing that we've drawn off the prizes is... Yeah, because I KO'd the Smeargle. One great thing we've drawn off the prizes is Karate Belt. Karate Belt is just going to help us, if this Entei gets knocked out, get a return KO. Because otherwise, we've used Raihan and we've got no real energy left on the board. So, that's going to be really important for us. Warrior's going ahead and using Special Charge to throw Aurora and Powerful Colors back in the deck before using Sinlin to discard Lightning. The Lightning, I guess, was already in hand when the Vulcan was being used to get back Sharon's Care, which can be really dangerous. Notably, right now, Entei's second attack does 100 damage, which is not enough to KO the Kecleon with the Aspersia City Gym in play. So Warrior's thought process is probably I'm going to be able to tank a hit here with the Kecleon, then pick it back up and maybe attach DTE and use Live Painting on Smeargle. And so they'll go ahead and swing in for 70 damage on the Entei. But the great thing is that I have the Stadium Bump, and I kind of pre-planned this all. I saved the Stadium Bump, and it's a great one because the Viridian Forest is going to get that second fire energy from my deck, so I can go ahead and KO. And this is great because it's always also going to get rid of that the double turbo energy. I'll go ahead and attach the Karate Belt now, and then after all that, we'll finally do the hand disruption with the Marnie, and hope that I've kind of bricked them off that, and that we end up in a good spot. Go ahead and use Great Ball. We'll find another Aerodactyl GX. Not really thrilling. I don't think I actually evolved this Aerodactyl because I'm afraid of Fright Night Yveltal. Kind of putting in the work. But we'll go ahead and use Entei's second attack, which does 3 for 100, to knock out the Kecleon now that it's back down to 90 HP. Now, my opponent does promote the Smeargle here and attach Powerful Colorless. So that means unless they get the Raihan, there's no way they're attacking this turn. They're just going to thin down their hand and hope for the best to try and find the Raihan. And after the Industrious Incisors, we see an Erica's Hospitality, which is not a Raihan. So they'll draw a bunch of cards, but it won't be a KO. They'll go ahead and after that Viridian Forest, which I think they should have probably Viridian Forest and failed. before they use industrious incisors, but not sure. We'll get a grass energy, which is the correct energy type for Kecleon to be using in against my deck, because all of my guys are grass weak, except for Entei, which is why we play the Entei to fight the grass matchup. They do have switch, so they are just going to switch into their big beefy Snorlax and pass from there. The tag call thinning as well, but I believe they're still going to end up being above Gormandai's range, so it doesn't really matter that they're switching into Snorlax. It's just something that's going to absorb some hits. Attaching the Fighting Fury Belt to the Smeargle also means the Smeargle is going to be safe from KOs. And benching down on Guru so that they can actually Gormandai's for one whole card. Oh, two whole cards. We get the Gumshoes into play too. We'll draw for turn. At this point, now that the bench is locked, I'm not worried about Veltal, so I can go ahead and safely evolve the Aerodactyl. Warriorzzz also, I believe, plays counter energy, so that was also a fear with this Miracle, but they attached powerful colorless, so it didn't really happen. Yeah, no fear of a Veltal. We're gonna go ahead and Viridian Forest away the Jamming Net to get a basic energy potentially? Question mark. Maybe not. And yeah, we will finally evolve the Aerodactyl. Attached to it. Just building up a backup attacker here. And we'll incisors for a big fat one. We get Professor's Research, which in this hand, it's basically the same thing as Peony, but not really the best situation for me. So I'm contemplating just ripping it and seeing what we get. And yeah, we do just go ahead and rip it and draw further into the deck. Not necessarily anything too transformative off the top here with the research. Just getting further in and going towards the Lycanroc GX eventually is good too. But I do believe we just have to settle for 3 for 100 here, and Warriorzzz will probably Sharon's Care up this Snorlax and get it out of the way. Yep, and we're gonna go for the Fire Main. Well, I'm thinking about something here. So I've already attached return, so I can't go in with the Lycanroc GX for the Splintered Shards GX. So we do just have to Fire Main for 100. Oh, wait, no. I don't Fire Main. I totally don't. And this was such a great play. I pass. I'm just waiting for the Fire Main damage, but wait. I was like, wait, no, I don't do that. I just pass because I know he has Sharon's Care. So that allows me to really effectively play around this, and the Snorlax is stuck here, and the Snorlax can't move. So heads up play on my part for sure. Their bench is locked, and they're just kind of like, uh-oh. What are we going to do? Now, it will allow them to just kind of build up energy in the background, but we'll keep the Snorlax locked in the active there for sure. The good thing then from this hand, as they've played Lily, so we know that the Snorlax is going to be stuck there, is I believe I'm going to go for the Karina for an Escape Rope, which can kind of guarantee that something hits here. Warriorzzz actually has the escape rope of their own. And so we'll just go ahead and promote the Beefy Stone Journal, which got 130 HP on a basic. We're not too afraid of it getting stranded in the active. It could also just get KO'd. The Smeargle has the potential to hit some big numbers. It's got Fighting Fury Belt, so it's doing plus 10 right now, which does mean live painting is live with 3 energy in hand. And I'm assuming they do just go into Mew. Or if it doesn't matter, then they're going to go into Smeargle for sure. But yep, here comes the Smeargle. And the live painting. What are we showing me? He actually discards the Sharon Scare off Viridian Forest. We do have the counter catcher on the Aerodactyl GX. But this is kind of a misplay because once the Aerodactyl GX is brought up, the ability Primal Winds is in play, so the Smeargle now requires 3 energy to attack. And so this just kind of puts Warriorzzz just kind of tunnel visioned on one play that they had the counter catcher, so they were going to be able to KO the Aerodactyl and take 2 prizes and go down to 1 prize. But the Aerodactyl's ability coming in clutch here means that this game will kind of wrap up from here, and we'll go ahead and go to game 2. Kind of an unfortunate way for this one to end, because you don't really think about that Aerodactyl's ability until it happens to you. But that is kind of why we like a build around for this deck was using that. So going second here, I've got a pretty crazy hand in the fact that I just have Peony to guarantee Viridian Forest, and we can just go ahead and start pummeling him, and he opens Tapu Koko. So Lance Pulse will do 30 more damage if there's a Stadium in play, which can Oko a Tapu Koko. So starting off in a really good spot. They're just going to attach Pass to Tapu Koko. I'm going to attach Capture. And my plan here is next turn I want a Viridian Forest or a Peony for Viridian Forest and Evo Incense to get like Babarrel into play and get a KO going too, which could be just bonkers. So we will use Capture Energy to get Bidoof, getting ready for Industrious Incisors next turn. I think that's just it. My opponent has a Piers, which is going to get them a Darkness Pokemon and an energy card of whatever they're choosing, whatever energy they like. So they'll get their Yveltal, which is always a threat, and a Capture Energy to start setting up their board. And they have Escape Rope in hand. So this kind of just destroys my plan of the turn 2 KO on the Tapu Koko. They don't bench the Yveltal because they want to start flying flipping. And then they bench Bidoof after they've essentially gusted me. And Flying Flip will begin. Now, off the top, I do not draw Viridian Forest, which would have been perfect. So now I am kind of in a weird spot. I have to get, I can't just Peony my whole hand away. Like, I could do that and just, like, go, like, totally for broke. But I do think that's a little irresponsible. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to Peony for Floatstone Evo Incense. So that I can retreat out and I can just Lance Pulse for 60 damage, which is a 2-hit KO on Tapu Koko. And like, there's always the off chance that I guess it's technically like it'll be like a 1 in 8-ish chance of ripping a Viridian Forest off the Industrious Incisors. So we'll get Evo Incense Floatstone and just say, come on, Viridian Forest. We'll shuffle our deck up, and it's literally the first card. Which for Warriors, I'm sure that's just got to be tilting. Admittedly, it was the play I was going for, and the escape rope was basically their only out to it. So it's definitely a big tilter that's just the way it worked out. I think I still would have been in a really good spot if I was just hitting for 60 there, but good for me. We'll get the Lands Pulse for 120 with weakness, and be just really up ahead in a good spot. Warriors is going to start their turn off with Volkner for Lightning Energy and Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball presumably will be getting the Barrel, and they'll discard the Lightning and a Gumshoes to get Barrel, and then start building their board up. They'll discard the Sharon's Care with Viridian Forest and get a Darkness Energy that they'll attach to Yveltal. And Yveltal's in a pretty safe spot right now. It's going to absorb any hits so that you can really dish out to it, because it does have a fighting resistance. So it will definitely have to tank something, and he'll play Path to the Peak, which will protect Yveltal's energy. Now, I do just draw Field Blower off the top, but it's not necessarily the time to just Field Blower the path. We'll evolve up into Lycanroc, and I'll double check the wording of Lands Pulse, and I can actually, just because there's a path in play, even if it's my opponent's, Lands Pulse is still going to do 60 damage. So I still am threatening a 2-hit KO. If there was no Stadium in play, Lands Pulse would be doing 10 damage, which would not be threatening the 2-hit KO. So I am threatening the 2-hit KO, which is something that Yveltal cannot do right now. So it's worth it to go ahead and attach the extra energy up front. Warriors will go ahead, bench an Oranguru, and go with Erica's Hospitality. Erica's really just getting in value in the two games that we've played. It was a draw 6 in game 1, is a draw 4 here, so just a really good solid support card. Attaching the Choice Band to Smeargle to buff up its damage. And do they have the counter energy or the DTE? They do, but they're going to attach the DTE to Smeargle and play down Aspertia. So I'm no longer path locked, but that doesn't really matter because I've evolved into a different Lycanroc, and they'll just go ahead and pass back over to me, kind of saying that they recognize that this Yveltal is not long for this world. And I'm in a pretty good spot to just hold the hand. I don't want to discard the Raihan because Raihan is my deck's basically one energy acceleration. So not necessarily safe to go for the research right here. So instead we will just go ahead and Lands Pulse and get KO number 2. Warriors immediately promoting the Smeargle, looking to threaten for some big damage. Now the math gets a little wonky here because they do have a double turbo energy, which reduces damage by 20. So essentially we are still in effectively Stonejourner right now has still 130 health, so they do need to get up to 4 energy in hand. They'll attach a Choice Band and then Lily for 2, attaching Aurora Energy over there and discarding down. Now they'll be able to go for an Industrious Incisors. And they've got 3 energy in hand, which is not enough for the KO. And that will do 120 minus 20, just 100 flat damage. So we'll be left with 10 HP, which is really unfortunate for Warriorzzz. The damage was like, the damage rolls were just essentially not in his favor. And using Lance Pulse, we'll be able to just go ahead and take another KO. Finding Escape Rope off the top is a really good one. We've got pivot options live with Barrel and Tapu Koko, so in a really good spot there. War is going to promote Orin Guru. Slam down a Rescue Carrier to get that Smeargle back and attach a Fighting Fury Belt. And going to go ahead and put in a Shrine of Punishment, just basically thinning out the hand. My deck can, like, if it gets set up in the right way, it can play without my GXs, and we're kind of showing that here. Going to Cynthia and Caitlin, discarding a Grass Energy to get back Erica's Hospitality. And then after that, in their hand, they've got it all folded up, so they're going to go ahead and Resource Management. Before they do, they're going to go ahead and find a Shuppet with a Quick Ball, and this Shuppet basically is like already is a threat to knock out the Stonejourner, because it is at 10 health remaining. And now after all that, they're going to recycle the Yveltal, the Piers to get the Yveltal, and things like Counter Energy, because they are down by 3 already. Yeah, I've KO'd Tapu Koko, Smeargle, and a third thing. And they'll just go ahead and Resource Management. Now, going into my turn, we're going to go Sonia. And Sonia will just allow me to kind of fill my board up here. Just getting my options, or grabbing some energy because I don't have an attachment for turn. And I'll just go ahead and get one of each. The Fire Energy kind of guaranteeing the possibility of a Fire Main from Entei. Now here, I recognize that killing the Orin Guru is not that great of a prospect because DTE is already down, so they only have one more energy to be able to attack with this Guru. And by using Escape Rope, I can kind of put pressure on them, like basically getting rid of their draw engine, because I know they don't want to get rid of Shuppet, and I know they don't want to get rid of Smeargle. So they will sacrifice the barrel, and we'll go ahead and Lance Pulse. Now Baby Buzz and Banette enter play, and the great thing is that I don't have any GXs or rule boxes in play that are going to tick up with the Shrine of Punishment. So the Shrine is just affecting the Banette right now. Rally Back is great here because the Banette doesn't resist it, and then he immediately Shady moves to move a damage counter off the barrel onto the Stonejourner to take the KO. Now the question is, are they going to have enough supporters in the discard pile to KO this barrel from where it is right here? And that would be 8 supporters in the discard. Special charge to get Capture and Double Turbo Energy back into the deck. Warriorzzz has really been able to get value out of recycling some of the powerful energy that they have, but they don't have enough supporters in the discard. They're one short. It's not like they won't kind of immediately be able to capitalize on it, though. by putting down by moving a damage counter off of the barrel, or sorry, onto the barrel off of Banette. The really great thing that my hand can do this turn is I can Raihan, because I did have a Pokemon knocked out the previous turn, or during the previous turn. It wasn't knocked out by damage from an attack, but it was knocked out during the previous turn. And I'll use this Raihan to just go ahead and start powering up a benched Rockruff here, because I'm already within like attacking range with the Entei and the Lycanroc that I have. Kind of checking out my deck here, and potentially going for the Grant play. But instead, I'm just going to go ahead and get Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball will allow me to get a Lycanroc's GX. I'll discard both Aerodactyl GX and Karina's Focus, just to thin. And I'll get Lycanroc GX, bench Tapu Koko, attach an Energy to Rockruff, and Rescue Stretcher to basically thin my hand down. We'll put Aerodactyl and Stonejourner back. Field Blower to get rid of the two tools that Warriorzzz has, and then we'll draw 3 off the barrel. Using Great Ball, we either have Crobat or Aerodactyl or Rockruff. None of them I'm really particularly vibing with. So we'll just fail and use Uxie to draw 4 off of setup. Nothing really threatening some big action there. But we got some good plays for next turn based on that hand. Now, the good thing is, now that I'm at 2 prizes, Banette is kind of a liability, and I can just kind of play around that fact, and I just want to kind of swing into it for as much as possible, and then let that shrine tick up. I don't care that the shrine's in play. I don't have any GXs myself yet in play. I might bench down the Lycanroc, but the Banette's just kind of a liability at this point, and I will go ahead and rally back into it for how much damage? Oh, I'm just going to hit it for... Yeah, I'm just going to hit it for 30 damage and the tick up from Shrine. We'll go ahead and use Shady Move to KO the barrel. And Cynthia and Caitlin is the supporter for turn for Warriorzzz. The real challenge with Cynthia and Caitlin in this deck is that by getting back a supporter with Cynthia and Caitlin, you're decreasing your supporter account for Banette GX. So that was something that he and I talked about. It was just kind of like a weird mini game for him to have to play, is just worrying about how many supporters do I have in the discard, and like basically going neutral on a supporter for turn, even if they played one for turn, which is frustrating to say the least. But yeah. We'll get back Piers, which is great here, because that will get counter energy. That'll get Voltol. And then we'll just go ahead and Shadow Chant. I don't believe it knocks me out. They don't go for the Shadow Champ because it's not safe to have the Bennett in the active. So promote Smeargle. And we see an attached life painting. The attach of the DTE, which is the very frustrating one to attach here, revealing 3 energy, which will do 120 damage minus 20 is just 100. Should just be 120, right? Oh wait, is there powerful colorless? Yeah, there is powerful colorless. So then I'll go ahead and do a Evolve Lycanroc GX, Team Flare Grunt to discard the energy, and then Devo Spray so I can Team Flare Grunt again. Because right now I don't have an energy in hand, so I'm just going to go ahead for the Rally Back for 30. Definitely puts them in a precarious position, because if I do draw the energy, I can just retreat into the Lycanroc and start swinging. We'll go ahead and start their turn off with a Level Ball. The game has definitely kind of slowed down here once both barrels have been off the field, because realistically every move we make is vital, because we don't have a way to draw ourselves out of things as much as we might hope to. The counter energy will enable the attack for sure, though. So our play there didn't really end up working out. But I'm just kind of checking in the discard. I do have plenty of energy in there that the GX attack will get the KO. So we are just going to evolve, discard the energy, and research my hand away, looking for an energy, which we find. In this case, because we found the energy, we're just going to promote the Dangerous Rogue, because that's safer. It's a 1-prizer, and the Shrine is now ticking up. The good thing is we did just draw Escape Rope off the prizes, and the Bennett is getting weaker and weaker as it goes on. It is going to end up being in range of like a Leon plus Shrine takes play for sure. And while Warriorzzz does have 3 stadiums, the Shrine is just going to put in too much work here, and they're just going to scoop it up. The Raihan being prized for them, and the Iona, which is their only disruption, really being an annoying factor for sure. But yeah, so we start off X Standard Cube League with a W here. Very exciting. I wasn't necessarily sure of how strong my deck was going to end up being, because the draft ended up being a lot more jank than anticipated, because we played with 9 drafters instead of 8. The cube has 720 cards, so it's divisible by 8 or 9. But we ended up drafting with 9. So if you haven't seen the draft video, I definitely recommend it, because it's a really interesting draft, and things get really interesting when the cards on the wheel are all just kind of like really not gonna work in your deck. So starting off the league strong here with a dub, and I'll check in with you next time pretty soon here for round 2. Thanks for watching.